Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the free-to-play Dark Diablo from the New Year's Blessings event. And obviously his gear isn't done, but honestly, I'm just going to give him like other gear because I don't want to wait for this. He's okay because he's really good on a New Year's team, and he's pretty ass everybody everywhere else. So he's got high value on the New Year's team and almost no value on other places, which really, puts him right in that mid kind of category, if not just bad, because there's a lot more teams than just New Year's Blessings. And having a free-to-play unit who has universally good usefulness, like, say, Isis or Traya, or one of the other really good, like Geld or Water Rimuru. Like, he is nowhere near these old units, but on the New Year's team, he works very, very well. So let's just go over his kit very, very fast. He is an AoE, doesn't really matter. His first skill transfers 3 New Year's Blessing orbs to the character with the highest attack. Now, technically, this could work if you happen to have, if you're not running a full New Year's team and you have 3 Diablo orbs, you can use him as a cheaper version to give away orbs to another unit. Just like how Shuna and Hinata steal orbs for themselves, you could technically use Diablo in a similar fashion. We'll try it out. And then his second skill increases all gauges of New Year's Blessing characters by 50% on orbs, which is only applicable to New Year's characters. Like, otherwise, the skill is only here for the crit resistance, which is not that big. So, again, New Year's Blessing, highly limited, highly specific, but can work well on a New Year's Blessing or New Year's team. So, Valor trait, you're not going to use him in Valor. His actual trait, when you send a 4 combo of oranges, he gets extra guard power. We're not guarding in this meta, it's a burst damage, so this is actually useless. So, let's just go ahead and start with his showcase. Okay, so starting off, we're going to use him on the new New Year's Blessing team with Milim and Rimuru. We're still waiting on Shinsha. It'll be weird that she's put it on it, but whatever. He will work exceptionally well here because he's giving away orbs. He's going to guarantee that all of our orbs get that massive gauge increase because we have 3 New Year's units here alongside 2 that are not, so we do have to play around with it. But he will be a good addition here because of his support that he's giving to the New Year's units. Alright, so here we have 3 Diablo orbs, being 3 New Year's Blessing, and he will give away those orbs. Right? Transfers New Year's Blessing 4 souls to the character with the highest attack. Well, if we bring Rimuru in for the hero, then he has the highest attack. So it ensures that our 3 orbs are going to Rimuru. And that will apply anywhere. So as long as you have 3 Diablo orbs, you could bring a whole not New Year's team at all. And if you have 3 of them, you'll give them away to somebody. And you can designate who, because they will have the highest attack. And you can make characters have a higher attack than others. Taken off gear, they have higher dupes. Like, you'll generally know who's going to get that. So here, actually, it works out pretty well. So where Milim doesn't have an orb, but I don't want this ult right here. I want to swap it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the hero right now, and I'm going to swap that ult away into a Rimuru orb. Perfect. Boom. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rainbow buff, the orb change, and the other Diablo buff, which is going to give all New Year's Blessing orbs a 50% gauge increase and also lower crit resistance. So now we're buffing all of these orbs, all 6 of these orbs, because they are a New Year's Blessing character. And once we use Xion to convert these, it's going to go really, really well. So we can check it out. Increase your gauge increase by 50% for 2 turns, and that is universal. It's orange gauge, protection gauge, and skill points, and we're just getting an extra 50% everywhere, which gives him an EX ult, which gets us max points, which gets us another protector, which gets Rimuru his EX ult, even though Diablo technically can't get an EX ult. I'm just saying that because he has a double gauge. But if we had a full team of not New Year's Blessing characters, we wouldn't have been able to do that because it would have only applied to Diablo himself if he even had an ult. So right here, we're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and swap the swap Diablo out, and we'll use the hero buff. Well, yeah, no, the Hinata buff. Sorry, the Hinata buff. And then we'll bring Milim in, and then we'll be able to just hold this for now. Let's go ahead and give ourselves the gauge increase with Hinata. Ensure the next hand is full oranges, because we're going to use Shion here to change all these into oranges. Boom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we don't have to worry about not having Shion because we're guaranteed a full hand of oranges next turn. And that will help us get another gauge. So then on turn 5, we can actually nuke. So Diablo is only really used in the first 2 turns. But those first couple turns were very important because we needed that gauge increase to get him everything that we needed. And now we can send these oranges. We'll have 160 points next turn because she's going to give us another 30 from her passive. And we've got plenty of stuff to nuke here. So Diablo's value, not uber high after the first couple turns, but he did help us get set up very, very well. So let's go ahead and bring Rimuru in for Hinata. All right, and then let's use the hero debuff. So this is a 50% light resistance down, along with everything else, but it doesn't really matter. And then we'll bring Diablo in, and then we'll use the Milim synergy power and ult resistance down buff, and then we will also use the crit resistance down from Diablo again. And now we have a full hand of oranges, but we're going to use Shion because everybody needs the physical crit and stuff. And then I guess we'll give ourselves the extra orb damage for New Year's Blessing characters from Milim. So let's see how much damage we do on these. We'll send Milim. Actually, no, we'll send Diablo, right? So we'll do Diablo, 1, 2, 3, and then Rimuru will clean up, and then Milim. We're not going to get to Milim. All right, Diablo, 70k. Oh, I didn't have his thing on. Sorry. 70k on the ult. Rimuru's 200% orb does 180? 267. Ooh, that's quite a bit of damage. All right, and then Rimuru does 884,000 in 5 turns. That was pretty good. Diablo helped us get set up for that amount of damage, and it works. He works really well on the New Year's team. He's not going to work nearly as well on some other teams, but we do have another New Year's team to put him on to see if he can actually contribute. And that's the old Light 3.0 team, last year's New Year's team. Alright, Light 3.0, Shuna, Milim, Raphael, and Lumi, with Megumin as well. So, here, we're going to be looking pretty good, because we have 4 units that are New Year's Blessing, which means that Diablo can give away orbs to the highest attacking unit, which technically is Megumin, but if we don't have her up front, it will go to Raphael, which is who we want them to go to in the first place. And then he's also able to give us that gauge increase, which is going to help all these blue orbs, because they're all New Year's Blessing characters. So, he's not going to help us really do damage, but he's going to help us with a little bit of RNG and help us get, maximum protector gauge for Shuna, which is the more important thing here. Alright, so we do have to wait for a turn where we can actually give away 3 orbs to Raphael, because right now, I would want Raphael to have 3 orbs, so the orbs we would give away would all go to him, ensuring that we would have a 6-hand send. We don't really have that right here, so we're just going to bring Megumin in. We're going to go ahead and convert those. We'll take out Milim, and we'll bring in Lumi, because she's also got Blanc attached to her for the turn 2 protection trait, and we'll just do this, and we'll pray for a nice hand of Raphael somewhere in here. We don't have to use Diablo immediately. It's just helpful whenever we get to that point. So, let's see. Again, we have 3 orbs. We have 3 for Lumi, but not for Raphael. So, what I could do is we could technically just send these 3 Lumi orbs, but I don't know if I want to do that. I just kind of want to get a full hand of blues here, and we'll just use Diablo maybe turn 4 or something, where we can get us the ult guaranteed for Raphael, and then we can really move forward with that. So I want points here, and points are going to come off these blue orbs more than anything else. So 152, we got a lot to use here. We pierce naturally, cool. Alright, can we get 3 Raphael orbs? Lucky break? No. But we can keep getting really good orbs here. So technically, here, what I could do is I could bring Diablo in for Megumin, Boom. I could use both his skills, and since we have a full hand of blue, it's going to give 5 blues to Raphael. And we could gauge increase both of them. So give away 3 New Year's Blessing character orbs to the character with the highest attack, who is Raphael. Everyone up here is New Year's Blessing. And then orange skill point increase doesn't apply here because we're running blues. But then all gauge increase for orbs of New Year's Blessing by 50%. Alright, let's do that. Boom, 5 Raphael orbs. Crit resistance down, doesn't really matter because we're not critting on this team. But now we have a skill point increase of 200%. We have protection gauge increase by 20% from the charm, and we have an all gauge increase by 50% for the next 2 turns. So as long as everyone up front for the next 2 turns is New Year's Blessing, we will get an extra 50% gauge to everything, which will ensure that we get the alt for Raphael, probably an alt for Lumi as well, maximum points, extra protection gauge, which we're going to cap out anyways. But it's like, look at that, even 5 orbs almost got there, so this is pretty much overkill. So we'll actually get to see how much like a full hand of blues gets us with that extra next turn, because we'll have nothing. But I mean, that's a really good use right there, right? Okay, so here's not a super great hand, but we can make it work. So let's get the 2 stacks on. We did not get Lumi's alt, but we will get it here. Alright, so 2 more stacks for Raphael. He's good now, he can go away. And we will bring in, let's see, Megamine? Megamine for Raphael? Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. So we'll orb change with her. Boom. And then we can take Diablo away. Now what this means is that some of our orbs are not going to have that buff, because Megamine is not on New Year's Blessing. So she is nowhere in here do you see that 50% buff. But if we click on Milim, we've got that 50% buff, because she is New Year's Blessing versus Megamine not being. So we have 2 orbs here that are not full buffed, but we'll still be able to see, you know, a good amount of gauge, and like that's almost 2 full gauges off of just a normal 6 blue. That is pretty powerful, alongside the charm as well, granted, but that's still really good. And if these 2 Megamine orbs were actually, you know, Diablo, and we could have worked it like that, it would have been great. And we would have gotten another 2 stacks, but we didn't. It still works out really well. So, specifically on New Year's teams, even if they're not orange focused, he can bring some RNG value. If you don't have another support unit to bring, if you don't want to bring another like blue orb changer, you don't have another blue orb changer, Megamine could be violet for all I care. You know, there are a lot of ways to get around this. Let's take out Milim. Let's go ahead and put this stack on. And then if we get another full hand of blues next turn, then we're looking pretty good. Which we can't really get because we don't have another unit to swap out. But let's get Raphael out of here. Okay, perfect. Boom, boom. Now, technically, what we could do is we could use Diablo's gauge buff again. Get another 50% on everybody but Megamine. I'm going to send this alt just so we can send full and get a max stack, max points. And this is actually running fairly well. Like, we're not going to need Lumi's alt to kill, because we're going to have way too much power. So it's not really important that we hold on to it. And it was more important for us to get a full 6 send to max out our gauge right there, because we're getting so much. So much. Alright, so we made a cut. We're now on turn 8 for the nuke, and because of the gauge increase from Diablo, we were actually able to get another Lumi alt. And then some, because of that 50% gauge increase. So even if you have to send an alt here and there, you're going to make up for it, because you're getting an extra 50% alt gauge off of those blues, and if we're sending full hands of blues every single turn, it's going to make things look real super nice. So we're going to be up to, what, 10 stacks of Shuna here? That's pretty good for not having a rewind turn in here, right? I'd call that pretty good. And we're going to nuke full power, so 1, 2, 3, 4... And then we'll bring Milim in for Megamine, and then we'll have plenty of power to nuke here with, you know, 2 ults. The crit resistance from Diablo doesn't really matter here because we're not critting. This is not a crit-focused team. But now, you know, Raphael's got 100% Pierce Power and Stun Strike, plus the Pierce Power trait, plus the Light Attack, plus the Stun Strike, plus the Pierce and the attack, and we got the alt damage from Megamine. So Raphael's going to murder this poor guy. And he's going to do like 2 million damage, probably. 1.3. Oh, he didn't actually kill. Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised. But then Lumi came in and cleaned it up with 1.2. So it's like, yeah. Diablo can certainly help the 2 New Year's teams that we have. But if we try and take him away from that, it becomes a little more sketchy, is what I'll say. Alright, the last part is we're going to put Diablo on another orange-focused team that also is crit-focused in the Fire 2.0 team. So we're going to bring Violet, who's got, crit and pierce and the attack buff. We've got Megumin for the ult buff. We've got Benimaru for the orb change turn 1 and the burn. We've got Fire Shizu for the fire and fire resistance down. Diablo will be crit resistance downing the enemy, and will have a chance to give away some orbs to somebody. It's not guaranteed since he is the only New Year's character here, and also he's only going to be the one to get the 50% gauge increase as well. But this is an orange-focused crit team, so let's try him out and see how he does away from any other New Year's characters. Alright, so turn 1, we have to use Benimaru's orb change to apply the burn to Clayman so it doesn't lock us in. Let's go ahead and bring Megumin in for Diablo, and we'll just go ahead and send this as is. Now, we can make use of the crit resistance down, but I think more than anything, I'm going to use that for a gauge increase. And if we get a lot of Diablo orbs, we can make that work. Didn't really get that here. Is that another... Hold on, can we... Well... Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to use this again. And let's bring Violet in for Benimaru. No, for Shizu. Yes. And then we're going to bring Diablo in for Megumin. And what we're going to do is since Diablo has 2 orbs, we're actually going to give those away. And those should go to Violet because she has the highest attack. So this is New Year's Blessing orbs to the character with the highest attack. 2 New Year's Blessing, character with the highest attack. And now we have 4 Violet orbs. So in a way, you could make that work. Like if we had 3 Violet and 3 Diablo, that would have been perfect. And we would have had just a 6-hand of Violet then. But, I mean, this works well. It gets us a lot of points. It gets us a good amount of gauge. We're not quite to a Violet ult yet, so we can still make use of turn 3 as well and get a maximum gauge increase off like a full hand of oranges, which is going to look really nice. So, cool. Right there. We got 2 stacks of burn now. Perfect. Okay, so here, we're going to use the other skill. So, New Year's gauge increase 50% and target's crit resistance down by 20. So, we're going to do this. We'll have 2 orbs of Diablo here. We'll go ahead and use Violet's buffs, and then we'll also bring Shizu back in for Benimaru. And then we'll use her pierce damage buff. Perfect. And then we'll use Toa to give us a full hand of oranges. So technically, only these 2 orbs are getting that 50% buff because it's the only New Year's unit, but 2 is better than nothing, right? So that gets us max points, it gets us, to a Protector and a half, gets us almost an EX ult for Violet, gets him an ult, guaranteed, and, we're looking pretty good now. So next turn, we can just send Violet away, wait until we have max points, or if I think we actually have max points now, that we can actually nuke here. Yeah, okay, we actually can. So, let's go ahead and use the fire buff, and then we will bring Megumin in, and then we can use the ult buff after we use Toa for that extra 40 points right here. So while Diablo, not really working that well on a team with no other New Year's characters, was still able to have an impact on this team, because we can work him in a way where we can benefit off the gauge increases and, orb giveaways that he has. It's a little bit, I would say, wonky to actually make him work. But work he did. And I think we'll actually, win here. 18k is not a lot, but Violet does... we'll watch this. She'll do like 200 something maybe, and she'll kill, or she'll do like almost enough to kill, and then maybe the follow-up orbs actually do it. But I think this was pretty effective. 213. All right, not the most. Okay, cheeky counter. Why not? And then we get how much off of Violet? 52k, 2 stacks of burn, 108,000, and we have another ult for her. So now we're pretty much ready to go. I mean, he's gonna die to a normal unbuffed ult, but we have enough to use another Megamine buff. So I mean, why not? But yeah, I mean, I think that was actually fairly effective. Can we actually make Benny Maru kill here for funsies? How much health does he have? 23. Oh, he's not going to do 23k. Well, he might do 23k with his follow-ups. Hold on. 16k? Nope, not enough. Just a nut tap. But there we go, 95k. So, we made him work. You can make him work in other scenarios. It's just, you do really have to play around and be conscious of what he's doing, what orbs he personally has, and then how you can work off of that. So, I mean, you could put him on a blue team, like we did that. We did that with the Light 3.0 team. You can put him on an orange team, as we've done. You could kind of put him on a green team. I don't think I'm going to do that here, but he can work. It's just, it's really difficult to do so. But let me know what you guys think of the New Year's Diablo. I think he's a bit too limited. Like, yeah, he can work, but I'd rather just have him be able to be worked on multiple teams efficiently instead of having to really play around with it to get him to be okay. I think he would be a little bit better if he didn't have the New Year's tags on it. Like, if this was just a 3-orb send, maybe get rid of this and just give a 3-orb giveaway with no secondary effect, I still think that'd be good. And if we just made this like an orange buff for 50% for 2 turns, just generically, I think that would be a lot better overall. But let me know what you guys think of him. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.